Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this. My name is Kevin, and I will be your English communications professor for the spring semester. As you all know by now, we are all trying to navigate through this hard time with COVID-19 coronavirus happening. So things will be a little bit different than what you are used to. I'm sure you are aware. We will be doing a few online classes for the next 2 weeks. Starting with this one here, of course. This will be your first week English conversation, English communication, orientation lecture. During this lesson, I am going to tell you a bit about myself. I'm going to tell you, explain a little bit about the course, what you are going to expect, a quick overview of what you will see or what you will be doing during the semester. Also, a few things about what I expect from you. A few assessment criteria that I want to explain to you of what I expect from you in this class. So, without further ado, I'm going to start. I'm going to be flipping between myself and the PowerPoint just to give you a sort of idea of where we are, things that you might need to know. It's Before we begin, I also like to explain that it's quite important that you pay attention during this orientation. At the end of the lesson, at the end of this class, I will be uh, asking you a few questions for a quiz. Now, this quiz will be done online too. You will answer these questions. And the questions, they're going to be three questions, and the questions are going to be things that I am going to discuss with you in the lecture. So please follow along during the lesson and take down some things that are new to you, that things that you might not know already. And at the end of the lecture, I'm going to ask you a few questions about them that you will need to know. So before we wait any longer, let's begin and let's talk about English communication this year. Right, as I said, this is an introduction week, an orientation course for English communication and English conversation. I do have one English conversation class too, but you'll be doing similar things. So, a brief context page of I'm going to cover in today's lesson. It's not a lot of stuff, just a few things that you will need to know to help you get through this semester without any problems. Okay, first, as I said, I'll do a quick introduction of myself, like who I am and where I'm from. Some things that maybe you might need to know. If you'd like to know more about me, if you have any further questions that you have for me, you can ask more questions when we do meet in person. I will have time for you during class if you'd like to ask any more questions, if you are curious or whatever. But I will just give you a brief introduction of myself. Then I'm going to do a course overview. This will be things that you will be doing in this semester during this course. There'll be textbooks that you'll need, things that we will cover, things that I'll ask you to do during the semester. Then next we'll do a quick semester assessments. How will I be grading you this semester? It's good to know. You to know to what is expected of you during the semester. Next, I'll be talking about attendance. Two types of attendance we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at mobile attendance, in-person attendance, and attendance management. How I'm going to be managing who's here, who's not, etc. I will talk about your class schedule. This is for all the classes that I have. Your schedule will be different. I'll just give you an overview, things to expect for your schedule. Then we'll talk a short time about the calendar, any cancellations and makeup classes that we'll need to do. Again, Everything's a bit up in the air at the moment. Coronavirus is making things a little bit hard to schedule, but we'll do our best to try and make things as simple as possible and try not to inconvenience you too much. Okay, let's go into a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Kevin. I do have a longer name. I am from South Africa, and a lot of South Africans that look like myself, we have African names that are usually quite long and usually quite difficult to pronounce. I do go by my English name, Kevin. It's easier for everybody. It's easier for you. It's easier for me. And I like to be called Kevin. If you'd like to call me that, I'm perfectly happy. But if you'd like to know what my African name is, um, speak to me in class and I will teach you how to say it. As I said, I am from South Africa. I grew up in Cape Town. Most of you might know Cape Town. I've also lived in Johannesburg. I've lived in Durban. If you have more questions about those places, please feel free to ask me in class when we meet. South Africa, we speak many, many languages. One of which is English. I can speak three other languages. So I speak four languages in total. That's including English. I speak the other languages very badly, but if you'd like to know more about them, please ask me in class. Right, and before I came to this university, before I came to Sungkyul, I was working at Gangneung Wanju National University out in Gangneung, Gangwon-do Province. Beautiful beach town. I've also worked at the Wanju campus too. I've been doing this quite a long time, but yes, but now we're here. And some of my interests involve music, some film, anything to do with the arts. I love to travel. I love to see new cultures. Exploring the world is a privilege. I implore you to try do the same if you can. Traveling is great. Okay, so let's get to the important stuff. Here's a quick course overview. What is to be expected, or what is expected that you will be doing in class for this semester? First of all, you will need to get this textbook. It's called Breakthrough Plus, second edition. This is what we will be using for our semester. If you do not have this book already, please make sure that you get your hands on a copy. I expect you to have the book in class for every lesson. Right? It's really important that you have the book. It really gets annoying for everyone involved if you have to keep borrowing books. Okay, please make sure you have this textbook ready and you have it in class every lesson. It will make everybody's life a lot simpler. We have 2 to 3 hours per week. Some classes have 3 hours in a week. Most of you have 2. But yes, 2 or 3 hours in a week per week we have. There will be an exam. There'll be a casual exam or a TOEIC exam that you will need to do in the semester that goes to your grade. You will also be asked to do 3 portfolio assignments. I will explain what portfolio assignments are. It's something that I do, different to the other professors, but it's something that I like to do with the class. Excuse me. We also have midterms. Midterms will cover units 1 to 5, and we'll also have a final exam that will cover units 6 to 10. I am not completely sure yet about when your midterms and your finals will be. Right now, they are penciled in for week 8 and week 10. Sorry, for week 8 and week 16. But as you know, with the whole coronavirus thing happening, schedule is changing. There has been talk about makeup classes, maybe evening classes or weekend classes. But there's also been talk about extending the semester an extra 2 weeks. Nothing is confirmed yet. So I don't want to give you an exact date for your midterms, an exact date for your finals, but just know you will have a final exam, you will have a midterm exam, and you will have 3 portfolio assignments to do and you will have a TOEIC test to do. The dates might move around. Just letting you know now in case they do. So just be prepared. It's a moving schedule as it is. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but it's what we have to play with right now. But I'm sure you'll be. I'm sure you'll work out just fine. Right. So that's it for the course overview. Um, as I said, we are going to be starting lessons, textbook lessons from next week, Monday. So please make sure that you have your textbooks before the next class. It is very important. You will need to be doing some work from the book. Please make sure that you do have your textbook with you. Okay, let's move on to the semester assessments. This is how I'm going to be grading you this semester. First of all, for English communication class and conversation class, again, you have been split up into 3 levels. There's a beginner level, there's an intermediate level, and there is an advanced level. Each class or each level class, I will be teaching in the style that suits that level. So if you're a beginner, I'll be teaching you in a beginner way. If you're intermediate, I'll be expecting an intermediate level of participation. And if you're advanced, I'll be expecting someone a little bit more advanced. Now, what's important is your placement. You have already done a TOEIC test or you've done something or placement test. You have been placed based on your TOEIC score or your placement test. So it is very important. Please make sure that you have registered according to the level that you were assessed at. All right. If you are beginner level and you register for intermediate, I promise you the intermediate class will be a bit difficult. Right? You might not get the grade that you think or you expect to be getting, but it will be a little bit more difficult if you are in the wrong class. Same goes for if you are advanced and you have registered for an intermediate class. The class that you are going to be in will be a little bit easy. And I will see and I will notice you that this class is too easy for you. And I'll be forced to give you extra assignments. I'll be forced to give you extra work because it won't be fair for the other intermediate students that you are taking an easier class. Right? The grades won't work out fairly for others who are in the right class. So it's really important. It's better for you. It's better for the other students. It's better for me that everybody is in the correct placement class that they have been tested for. Right. Things you might need to know about registering for the correct class. You will have 2 chances, 2 opportunities to change the class if you need to. Right. If you need to change because you're in the wrong level class, or if you need to change because scheduling conflicts with other classes, you have 2 opportunities to do this. Right. The first opportunity is this week. That is March 16th. To March 20th. So you'll have this week to change any class that you need to change. Now, bear in mind, the next one, we have just been told recently that you will have another opportunity. The next opportunity you will have to change classes is between March 30th and April 3rd. I would suggest trying to change your classes as soon as possible. You don't know if the other classes might get filled up. You don't know if there will be any other schedule conflicts. So as soon as you know where you need to be, how you need to re-register, I hope and I suggest that you re-register as soon as possible. Right? March 16th to March 20th is probably the best time. But you will have another opportunity, March 30th to April 3rd. But the sooner, the better, I think will work. Right, your TOEIC scores. You will be asked or you will be required to do a TOEIC test in this semester for this semester's grade. All English communication students must submit a TOEIC score from this semester. Right? If you do not submit a TOEIC score, the highest possible final grade that you can get will be 80%. Right? Your TOEIC counts 20% of your grade. If you don't submit a TOEIC score, you will not get anything higher than 80. So it is very important that you submit a TOEIC score. But there are some exceptions. There are some special considerations concerning your TOEIC scores. First of all, one of which is if you are a student that is 40 years older, if you are a student that is 40 years or older, you will get full credits regardless of your score. So your score can be between 0 to 1,000. It doesn't matter. You will get the full credit if you are older, 40 years or older than 40 years old. But it is very important that you still take the test. Even whatever you score, you'll still get full credit, but it is important that you actually do take the test and submit your score. If you do not submit your score, you will not get the credit for your TOEIC. Right, the second special consideration is any student that scores 900 plus on your ETS TOEIC, please submit an official document and you won't need to come to the lab classes. Right, what we're doing now, or when we have classes in person, you will not have to come to those classes if your score is 900 points or more using your ETS TOEIC scores. But you need to get an official document, submit an official document, and then you can waive the lab classes. Right, important. I've heard this has happened before, and I don't want it to happen in our classes. Please do not manipulate your score. Do not change your score before you give it to me. If you change your score in any way and we find out, that is an automatic F. You will fail the course. Okay, it's dishonesty, it's cheating. Don't change your score before you give it to us. Automatically you get an F no matter what you have done. All right, so please make sure you submit your correct score. Okay, so talking about your TOEIC tests, when will they be? We will only accept tests from March, April, or May of this year. No tests from last semester, no Sungkyul TOEIC test scores from last semester will be accepted. It has to be something from either March, April, or May of this semester. But we will also accept official ETS TOEIC scores dated since December 2019. Right, if it's November 2019, no, we will not accept it. But anything from December 2019, we will accept. December, January of this year, February, March, anything from then, we will accept as your official TOEIC score. We do not accept any Hagwon or Academy TOEIC scores at all. Right? Only Sungkyul TOEIC test or ETS TOEIC we will accept. No Hagwons, no Academy TOEIC scores, please. Here's a quick breakdown of percentage-wise what you will get as your final grade or from your TOEIC, or what contribution of TOEIC will be in your final grade. If you score between 0 and 349 points, you will get 0%. If you score between 350 to 400 points, you will get 10%. 401 to 450, you will get 12%. 451 to 500 points, you will get 15%. 501 to 550 points, you will get 18%. And lastly, if you score 551 or anything above that, you will get full points of 20%. Now, as I explained before, if your age is 40 or older, any of those scores, you will get a full grade of 20%. Right? But it is important that you do the test. You do give me a score, and then I can add your grades. I can add your score to your grades. Okay, you will get full credit. Right. Next thing we're going to talk about are portfolio assignments. Now, as I explained to you, portfolio assignments are things that I like to do. You will be doing 3 portfolio assignments this semester. They are conversation assignments. You do them at home, right? You do them after class. You will get into groups or pairs. You'll be getting into pairs or groups of 3. No more than 3 in a group, please. So either 2 in a group or 3 in a group. No groups more than 3. So I don't want to see groups of 4 or groups of 5. Please, only 2 or 3. In your groups, you will be writing an original script, okay, making a dialogue, setting a scene, role playing, and then you will record a video. You will do a video recording of your conversation. The video should last between no less than 3 minutes, and please no longer than 5 minutes. I do not want to see a video that is 12, 15 minutes long. Right? There are a lot of students, a lot of people videos that I need to go through. So please make sure you keep it between 3 and 5 minutes, please. Not shorter than 3, not longer than 5 minutes. That's more than enough. Right, your scripts and your recordings will be sent through the Band app, right? Those of you who have been here for a while, I'm pretty sure you know what the Band app is. If you don't, I will explain what the Band app is and how we will use it when I see you next in class. Your portfolio assignments are scheduled to be on week 4, week 6, and week 10. Again, as I said to you, because of the scheduling, because of coronavirus, the scheduling has been a bit difficult to confirm. So these weeks, they could change. This is just a guideline. This is what we've set it as, or at least this is what I have set them as for now. But again, things might move around, but if they do, I will let you know. I will usually communicate with you using Band, right? Using this Band app, I'll be able to talk to you. You'll be able to talk to me. Anybody in class will be able to talk to each other. Each class will have a separate group. Each class will have their own class group, which we can communicate with each other. I'll be able to send you any information you might need, and you can ask me anything on there. But I will make sure to keep you informed if there are any changes to the schedule, any changes to class. So, but I'll explain about Band a little bit more when I see you all. Right, portfolio assignments. Again, what is the criteria? How am I going to be grading these assignments? It's a pass-fail thing, right? So if you do it correctly, you will get the grade. If you don't do it correctly, you won't get the grade. But I will be looking for fluency. If you are speaking at a pace appropriate to your level. Again, this is why it is important that you register for the correct class. Because when we're doing portfolio assignments, and for example, if you're a beginner student and I expect you to be speaking at an intermediate level and you're not, you won't get the grade for that portfolio assignment. So your fluency will not be fluent enough for that level. So it's important, please, to make sure that you do register for the correct class. So your fluency, did you speak at the speed appropriate to the level? Can I understand what you are saying? Can I understand what you mean, even if you have grammar mistakes or if you have idiomatic mistakes? If you're using idioms and expressions in the wrong way, I am not too concerned. I don't worry too much about that, as long as I can understand what you mean or what you are saying. Right? It's all about just confidence and being able to speak. That is your fluency. Right. I would also be looking for accuracy. Now, accuracy is, did you use the structures, the expressions, the grammar that we learned in class for that chapter, for that unit? Right. So each portfolio assignment will be practicing what you have learned in class. So if I can see that you're using the expressions that we've learned correctly, if you're using the sentence structures, the grammar that we have learned correctly, you will be graded on that, on accuracy. Last thing we'll look at is, have you reached the objectives of the question? If I give you an assignment on unit 3, for example, and you start talking about things we learned maybe on unit 1, or maybe you start talking about things that are unrelated to the question, I won't give you the grade for reaching the objective. Okay, you need to stay on topic in any conversation that you have. It'll be a 3 to 5 minute conversation. Use that time to speak about the topic that I have asked you. Please don't speak about other things just to fill in the time. Right? It's important that you stick to what we have learned and use that time to practice the topic that we have done. Right, again, here's a little score breakdown. Your script will be 5%, your recording will be 5%. That's for week 4, week 6, and week 10. Script 5%, recording 5%. All right, if I have your script and no recording, then you only get 5%. If I have recording and no script, you only get 5%. If I don't have either, you'll get 0%. Please also make sure I said it's a pass-fail. What I mean is, if you have a script and I can see that it's done correctly, you will get 5%. You will not get 4%, for example. So, for example, if your script is maybe not amazing, okay, maybe if it's just an average script, like I'm not giving 3% or partial credit. I'm not giving 2% or 3% or 4%. If you do it and you did it correctly, you get 5%. If you don't do it, you get 0. Same for your video recording. If you do your video recording and you do it correctly, 5%. If you don't do your video recording or you don't do it correctly, you'll get 0. Okay, no partial credit. 0 or 5. 0 or 5. For each one, you should get 10% for each portfolio assignment. 10% for week 4, 10% for week 6, 10% for week 10. Again, these dates, these weeks might change. I will let you know as the semester goes by. Right. You will also be assessed using your midterm exams and your final exams. It's important you do both, please. There's no exceptions. You need to do both your midterms and your finals. Your midterms will be held on week 8, where we will cover units 1 to 5. And your finals will be held on week 16, and we will cover units 6 to 10. Now, depending on the schedule, depending on many things that might happen this semester because of coronavirus, some things may change. Maybe you will do less units, maybe you'll do more units, maybe the weeks will change. There are possibilities that assessment might change a little bit, especially when it has to do with time. Beginner students, I might do less units for you. We might cover units 1 to 4, or maybe units 1 to 3, and for midterms, and then we'll cover maybe units 4 to 8. I will work with the beginner students a little bit to make sure that it's a little bit more fair. But most of you, as it stands, midterms are going to be unit 1 to 5, and finals are going to be units 6 to 10. The schedule might change around a little bit, but as it does change, I will let you know during the semester. Your midterm and final exams will be an oral test and a written test. If that sounds familiar, it's because they are very similar to your portfolio assignments. I would like you to use your portfolio assignments as practice. Right, you're going to be practicing what I expect of you in the final exams and in the midterm exams, because they're going to be very, very similar. We're going to look at different topics that we have done in class, and we're going to be doing your written and your oral test in a very similar way that you did your portfolio assignments. So use them as practice. Take them seriously. Use them as practice. The assessment criteria will be the same as your portfolio assignments. What does that mean? What that means is that I will be looking for fluency, accuracy, and objectives in your midterms and your final exams too. That's where you'll be scoring. Unlike your portfolio assignments, you will be getting partial credits in your midterms and your finals. So I will be scoring you in a rubric on how fluent are you. So it's not pass fail. You will get a percentage. Okay, you will get a score if you are very fluent, if you are medium fluent, if you are not very fluent. I will be grading you according to how well you've done. Okay, it's going to be a percentage score. Same for the finals. Right, so for your portfolio assignments, it's pass fail, either 0 or 5%. But for your finals and your midterms, it could be 90%, 80%, depending on your score. Okay, depending on score. So it's not, you'll be getting partial credit in your finals and your midterms. Okay, so your oral test. Your speaking part, your oral test will count 10% of your total grade, your total final, your semester grade, I should say. Your total semester grade, oral test will be 10% of that. Your written test will be 10% of that. So your total for your midterms will be 20% of your entire semester grade. Your final oral test will be the same, 10%. Written test will be 10%. Total will be 20%. So for your midterms and finals together, you'll be 40% of your semester grade. Right. If that is a little confusing, if you have any questions about this, I will be available to you to answer any questions that you might have. But this is just a quick overview of what to expect. Right. Next, let's go on to attendance. Now, attendance is a very important part of my class. You have to make sure that you come to our lab classes. They count to your final grade. Most of you who have already been at the university know about how these attendance records work. If they work on absence and late. Another word some other professors might use for late is tardy. We don't use tardy in my country. We just say you're late. So absent and late. 3 lates equals 1 absent. And if you're absent 4 times, you will get a fail. Okay, you'll get an F. So please, it's really important that you are present. You do come to class every lesson. 3 lates, 1 absent, 4 absence is 1 fail. Right, attendance will be verified, will be checked using the Sungkyul University app. If you don't have one yet, please make sure you have the app. We're doing all your mobile attendance, and a lot of information goes through that app. As well as in-person attendance checks by myself in class before the lesson starts. So when you get to the class, you need to go onto the Sungkyul University app on your phones, check that you are present or check that you are late, whichever one it is, on your phones. And I will also, as a copy, check on a piece of paper on your schedule, sorry, on your class student list, if you are absent or if you are late or if you're present before the class starts. So I expect all students to arrive to class starting from the hour of your class, starting from the time that your class has been allocated. What that means is, if your class starts at 9 o'clock, I expect you to start arriving to class at 9 o'clock. I know most of you want to arrive exactly at 9, but I expect people to start coming into class at 9 o'clock. If your class starts at 10:45, I expect you to be at class by 10:45. Now, using your mobile attendance app, because you can check in present anywhere you are, because obviously it's on your phone, I implore you, please, to only check your mobile attendance when you arrive to class. Don't check present if you are not in the classroom, if you are in the bathroom, or you are down the hill at the coffee shop, or if you are in your dormitory sleeping. Right? Don't check present. You have to check when you arrive to class, because I will also be checking the in-person attendance starting 5 minutes after your hour starts, and I will compare the two at the end of semester. So what that means is, if say the class starts at 9 a.m., I expect students to start arriving to class at 9 a.m. At 9:05, I will start asking or calling out your names to check who is in class on a regular attendance sheet, piece of paper with the class names and everything, the way that's usually done. If you say you are present, mobile app, and you say, oh, your mobile app, I'm present, I'm here, and then I check on my, start calling out names and I check who's here, and you're not in class on my paper form, maybe you're late or maybe you're absent. At the end of semester, I'm going to check the two. Okay, I'm going to compare them to see, were you really in class? Like, were you really in class when you said you were on your mobile app? If on my paper you're not in class, if it says that no, you actually were not in class, I'm going to use my paper attendance. All right, I'm going to assume that you didn't actually come to class, that you just said you did, but you didn't actually. So please make sure you are going to be checked. Put the real time that you have attended class. Make sure that they are matched. Please make sure that it's not going to be any lies happening. That you attended or you press present, but you're not present. Okay, please don't try cheat. Everything is going to be checked. Right, as I said, in-person attendance check will begin 5 minutes after the hour. Right, and class will begin after attendance check is completed. So 5 minutes after the hour that you start, I will start doing paper attendance. Once I am finished paper attendance, in-person attendance, I will begin the class. If you arrive to class after I finish paper attendance, I will mark you as absent. Okay, so please make sure you come to class on time. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more if you are unclear. So attendance will be part physical attendance, so you have to be in class. That is 1 point for attendance. 1 point will be for participation in class. Right. So are you actually working in class? So one is attendance and one is participation. If you come to class and you're sleeping, there's no participation, obviously. So participation 1 point, attendance physically being there is 1 point. Right. As I said, okay, this gets a little bit quite important, but please bear in mind. If you arrive to class after I finish in-person attendance check, you will be marked as late. So it'll be approximately 10 minutes after the hour. So if your class starts at 9 o'clock, so 9 a.m., at 9:05, I will start calling out people's names. Once I have finished calling out everybody's name, I will begin the class. It's approximately 10 minutes after. So maybe 9:10, I will start the class. I'll start speaking. I say approximately because it could be less. If the class is a big class, maybe 10 minutes. If the class is a small class, maybe 7 minutes. 9:07, 9:08. Okay, so depending on your class size, once I finish doing in-person paper attendance, I will begin the class. And then if you arrive after that, you will be marked as late. Right. If you arrive 20 minutes or more after I've started the class, you will be marked as absent. So that is about 30 minutes after the hour. So if your class is at 9:30, if your class is at 9 a.m., if you arrive to class at 9:30 or later than 9:30, you will be marked absent. All right, so please make sure that you arrive to class at the correct time. Right, if your mobile attendance does not match my in-person attendance, you will be marked according to my paper attendance, as I was talking before. They will be compared at the end of semester. Please make sure that you don't try to cheat. Make sure they are matching. Right, there are some times when you will not be able to come to class, I understand, and there are some valid excuses that I will accept if you are absent. For example, if you're sick, right? If you're sick and you can't come to class, please don't come to class if you are sick. Rather stay home if you're sick. But you will need a letter from a doctor. You will need an official doctor's note signed by the doctor, stamped by the doctor. Please, if you have a headache and you decide that you want to stay at home, you don't want to come to class, and you want to go to the pharmacy and get some headache medication, ibuprofen or whatever it is, and then you come to class and you show me a box of ibuprofen or you show me a prescription, I am not going to accept that, right? You have to go to a doctor and get an official doctor's note to tell me that you were absent, or to tell me why you were absent, right? So if you're sick and you don't come with a doctor's letter, you are still going to be absent. I'm not going to change anything. Right. Another reason that might be is any women's health issue. I understand. I will try be as very sympathetic as I can. You need to get a document from the school to tell me why you were absent, right? You can use this document up to 3 times a semester, right? You can use it up to 3 times. Any more than that, I will not accept. Please make sure, don't use this reason all the time. Don't abuse this document. Don't, I'm going to be sympathetic as I can be, but please make sure that you respect the class and only use it up to 3 times when it is necessary. But I'm going to need that official document from you. Right. This doesn't apply to you, but I will explain it anyway. But students that are employed, only senior students. I'm sure most of you are not going to be senior students. So it doesn't really apply to you. And also, it's for the fall semester. We are in spring semester now, so it won't apply to anyone in this class. But student employment is another excuse not to worry about in this semester. Right. As I said, your attendance is twofold. It's two parts, right? You have physically being in class, and you also have a participation score. If you are sick, right, you did not participate in class, right? But if you bring me a doctor's certificate, you bring me a doctor's note, I will change your absent to a present in my attendance. But I will not give you points for participation because you were not in class. All right, I hope that you understand that. At least you won't be marked down for absent. You will still be present, but participation is extra score that I can't give you because you weren't there. Right. All English communication class students must submit a TOEIC score. No sickness, no part-time job, no excuses at all. You have to submit a TOEIC score. If you tell me that, no, I didn't take the TOEIC test because I was sick, or no, I didn't take the TOEIC test because I had to work, I'm going to say, no, it doesn't matter. It is important. You have to take a TOEIC test and you need to submit a TOEIC score. No sickness. There's no excuse for that. You have to give the TOEIC test scores. Okay, let's quickly look at this class schedules. As it seems here, I got 7 different classes. So please just look out for which class refers to yours. There are class name and class codes coming down on the side over here. So I have an English conversation class, code 016. Your classes start on Mondays, 9 a.m. to 11:40. I also have an English communications 095. Your classes are Monday, 1:45 to 3:30. I have an English communication 096 class, which is Tuesdays 9 a.m. to 10:45. There's an English communication 097 class, which is Tuesdays 10:50 to 12:45. Right. If you notice on this time here, there are these 2 little asterisks over here. These will be allowed for some extra time during lunch. Okay. Usually, I think your lunch break is supposed to be like 15 minutes. I will give you some extra time during lunch. I will discuss with you when I see you in class how long your lunch will be. But don't worry, because your class does run over lunch. We will talk and I will discuss with you. But your lunch will be a little bit longer, a little bit longer break. Right, there's an English communication 017. Your class is on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 10:45. There is an English communication 132 class. Your class is on Wednesday, 10:50 to 12:45. Again, you'll have special consideration for your lunch break. And then your English communication 120. Your class is on Thursdays, 2:40 to 4:25. Right, please check which is your class, which is your code, and make sure that you arrive to class on time when we start having regular classes, offline classes, lab classes. Right, we're nearing the end now. I'd just like to explain shortly about the calendar, the schedule we have for this semester, cancellations, what might happen, and makeup class. I will explain those when I see you in class. Let's talk about the calendar. So the first day of school will be March 16th, Monday. And again, just to reaffirm what's happening, these next 2 weeks will be online classes, and you will also have a quiz. So from March 16th to 27th, there will be online classes and quizzes that you will have to complete after each online class. Right, so students will be notified via Sungkyul University app, the one you will use for mobile attendance, the same app. So you'll be notified via the Sungkyul University app, push messaging, or the Academic Affairs Office will send you an SMS. This is especially to freshman students, maybe who do not have the Sungkyul University app yet. Okay, so we will notify you when the online lectures are available, and we'll notify you when you can do the quizzes for the online classes. Right, so the lesson video and quiz will be uploaded to Cyber Campus. I'm sure most of you already know Cyber Campus or how to work it. Maybe something you need to know, a little important, not very important, but those of you who know that some Cyber Campus classes have quizzes online, which will be added to your final grade. This is not one of them. Okay, for the next 2 weeks, I will give you quizzes more to check that you have attended and listened to the video. Okay, so for the online classes, I will be going through certain things that you need to know, and I will give you the quiz for those things. So you need to watch through the whole video so that you know what the answers for the quizzes are. So once you answer the questions in the quiz, I will know that you've watched the video and you've done the attendance. Okay, so quizzes will not count for the semester grade, but they will count for your attendance. So you need to do both, please. Again, due to COVID-19 situation, coronavirus situation, the rest of the semester calendar might change. I don't want to tell you any more right now because the schedule is changing every day, all the time. Once I know, or once things are confirmed, I will be able to confirm dates with you. So I hope we can work together in this. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but everybody's trying very hard to make sure that this semester runs smoothly. So I will give you dates for the class cancellations, for the makeup classes. I will give you the dates as the semester goes through. I apologize for this, but I think it's the best way we can run this semester smoothly. Right, so once the calendar and makeup class dates are confirmed, I will let you know. Right, quizzes. As I said, you'll be able to find the quiz for this lecture on Cyber Campus. Very simple questions. It's just for me to know that you have listened and watched the video for this lesson. I can give you attendance. So questions, 3 questions I'm going to ask you. Question number 1 is, what time will I start taking attendance? Right, so each of you in each class, you have your schedule. So I want you to check your class schedule. When is your class? And then I want you to tell me, when do I start taking in-person attendance? What time will I start taking in-person attendance for your class? Okay, don't worry about other people's classes. I only want for your class, what time will I start taking in-person paper attendance? Right, question number 2. How many portfolio assignments will you do this semester? How many portfolio assignments are you expected to do this semester? If you remember, portfolio assignments are the homework conversation assignments. All right, only the homework conversation assignments. Don't add midterms, don't add finals. Only the portfolio assignment that you do for homework. How many of those are you expected to do this semester? Last question. What is the name of the app you can use to contact me, contact other students in your class. What is the name of the app that you can use to send your portfolio assignments? Remember, I spoke to you that we are going to make a group on this app, a class group on this app, where I expect you to send me your portfolio assignments directly. We're also going to be having a group in this for the class where I can give you extra information, maybe calendar changes, dates changes, makeup class changes, all that information you might need. We're going to use this special app. What is the name of that app? Right. Remember, these quizzes are not for grades. So the next 2 weeks, you will get 2 quizzes. They are not for grades. They're just for me to check your attendance and that you actually watched this lesson. Time and date when the quiz will be available. It will be sent to you either by the Sungkyul University app or by SMS by the academic office for freshman students, like before. And that's it. We are done. Thank you so much for pay attention to this long lesson, this orientation. I hope you have all the information that you need to have to start the beginning of a semester smoothly. Most important, please make sure that you get your textbook. Please make sure you have your textbook starting from next week. I will be doing Unit 9, I will be doing Unit 1, Chapter 1. So you will need your textbooks for that class. Please make sure that you do the quiz so that I can check that you've watched the video for attendance. And please make sure that you are assigned to the correct class using the placements that they've given you through your TOEIC score. I think that's about it for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Again, I apologize for the huge scheduling mess, but I'm sure after, hopefully, after COVID-19, coronavirus has died down a bit, I'll meet you all in person and be able to answer any questions that you might have going forward in the semester. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.